welcome back to our channel. Oop, I scratched you.
You did. It's okay.
If you don't know who we are Millennial and Mom. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And today we are going to recap the best we can with Season 12, Episode 3, Nice to Marry You, of Married at First Sight. And I say the best we can because there were some things that happened on this episode that just did not sit well with us, and that pertains Chris and Paige and that whole wedding ceremony and reception and all that stuff. So we're gonna save them for last. We're gonna touch on what happened first. They showed us the other couples and them. So that's Virginia and Eric, Clara and Ryan, Vincent and Brianna. I'm glad I got their names right on the first try. You know, we saw them eating cake, dancing with each other, being with their families. Of course, it was a nice moment. What I will say on that, because with Virginia's mom and Eric and that whole situation, because Eric is more traditional like Virginia and her family, well, at least her mom's side, is more out there and stuff. I'm already like, this is not going to work out, because Virginia's mommy like, you know, we like to just accept people, just be open with that stuff. And Eric's like, yeah, I'm more traditional though. I'm like, it's not gonna work. Virginia likes the EDM music. She still likes to go out. Eric is in the house, so I don't know how that's gonna work out, because that can't mesh, because EDM world is a whole nother world in itself.
Right.
Did you have anything for those other three couples?
No, but it would have been interesting if Eric's mom had sat down with Virginia's mom at the same table to see how that conversation would have went
Eric's
out.
mom's not sitting and talking to nobody. We'll have to see that next week. So let's just move on to the other two weddings who we didn't get to see. And that is Jacob and Haley. I like to call Jacob Mr. Steak and Eggs, because that's all he likes to eat is steak and eggs. And I said this on our first video we made about them. I'm like, I know his stomach hurts. I know his tummy hurts. I know his boo-boo is like on 10. I'm just like,
Wait a minute. Do roses smell like boo-boo?
His do. Because I don't understand how you eat that every single day. For a meal plan or not, you need some vegetables, you need some fruit, you need some water. I don't know. So the last two people who got married, we're going to start with Jacob and Haley. I call Jacob Mr. Steak and Eggs, and Haley is Miss Bridesmaid, never a bride for 7 years dating. And I don't know, there was something about her that made me do like, why are you on this show? Because she always says, you know, she's been very picky with her dating options. She always like cut people off for like living at their parents' house or things of that nature. So now you're coming on this show taking a 50-50 chance for something that you're not gonna like.
Well, I mean, this cast seems to have it bad this season, because the majority of the cast said similar things to her. So it's like, why did you all come on the show? Have you not seen the show before? I'm starting to sound like a broken record season after season. Why are you on the show?
And this is our only third episode of the season. And I don't know if you caught this, but Jacob was like really chill, kind of like too chill for me. Maybe I'm just being picky myself. Before his wedding, and Haley, she was just like very like nervous. She didn't know what was going to happen. She's like, well, maybe he does this, maybe he does that. Well, like I said, it's a 50-50 chance.
But you know what though? When you think about it, most of the men that's on this episode, previous episodes, and previous season aren't really freaking out. It's always the ladies, it seemed like. But the only exception to the rule this time...
Well, he doesn't need to freak out. I just wanted him to be a little bit more excited.
Well, more nervous or whatever the case may be.
That's all I was looking
for.
The
only exception to the rule this episode is Chris.
We're not touching on that just yet, Mom. You had stopped me in my tracks with Chris. Oh, Lord. So anyways, let's just keep moving forward, you know. So they get to the altar. We see them walking down. She looks nice. He looks nice. I guess he was looking for a Jennifer Aniston type, because he really wants to be attracted to her. And I guess he's attracted to her. So,
and she wants to be attractive too. Again, the same vibe of the season. I want to be attractive. They forget that they're matched based on personality, how well they complement each other, things like that. Not based off looks, because beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Well, anyways, with their vows, I think his vows were genuine.
He got stuck. He got tripped up on his vows. He was like, oh, I lost my place. And I was like, that's okay. Just keep going. But he just seemed like he kind of like withdrew from that moment going forward. Like he was
I told
withdrawn
you
and
because
awkward.
he didn't really seem excited to me. I mean, yeah, you could be nervous, but there was like no excitement going
No
on.
energy.
There wasn't any. And even with his friends, gave him their stuff, they said, yeah, he's a nerd, even though he looks like a meathead on the outside and stuff. So I'm like, okay, this is our first time really, really get to see him in a Married at First Sight element. So I'll let him live on that one.
Okay.
And then with her vows, I mean, I guess it was just regular basic vows.
They were basic,
But I guess what can we really expect?
That's true, because she said before she came down the aisle, she says, regardless she was matched at first sight or not, she wants to be with her person. So pretty much it may or may not work out depending on how this time goes.
Well, it was awkward the whole time. The officiant was awkward. The music they had was awkward. They were awkward the whole time. So of course it only made sense when they went back in the back with each other.
But before you get to that, what else was awkward? The dog she brought was awkward and nervous too.
Well, you know what? They can connect on dogs. So hopefully that connection can last with each other. Even though last season we saw that it didn't really work with cats. So maybe it worked with dogs.
That's true.
So far, Haley's just like, all I know is that my husband is quirky and he likes 80s stuff. So, we'll just see how it goes, get more information.
Go with it.
I'm like, girl, we can already see that you are not feeling this. And he isn't really making it any better. At least I can give him this part. He is trying to engage in conversation.
He's trying, but the whole thing I wrote down was, okay, awkward. It's kind of was like watching like that eye commercial for eye drops, like...
You're giving him a Clear Eyes guy?
A Clear Eyes or...
Nah,
or,
I'm not giving him Clear Eyes.
Bueller. It was
Isn't that an 80s movie?
Exactly. That's my point.
I mean, I guess I never seen it before, but it sounds familiar. Yeah, so they're both just very awkward. And I thought it was so funny when it was time for them to take the pictures with each other's family. Miss Haley, she got a drink of that champagne, that wine. She drank that really fast, gave it to her niece or somebody. She's like, go give it to somebody. Give it to another adult. I'm like, dang, Haley, you need a drink already? But I guess, calm your nerves.
Right. She's trying to calm her nerves. She even said she was trying to cope. She's like, she's just trying to get through the day and her nerves and everything else that comes along. And he was trying to cope too in his own way.
Well, I still think they took really nice pictures. It seems...
The family picture was the better vibe than the together picture because he was standing there like stiff as a board kind of to me. But family picture, and there was like,
I mean, what can we really expect for them? That's what I'm trying to give out, some optimism, because it kind of seems like we're going to be pessimistic with Chris. So that's why I'm trying to be optimistic with them. But I thought it was also very interesting. He was like, well, who's going to be the bridesmaid with the knife behind their back? She was like, oh, that one. I can't remember her name, but if you've seen the episodes, you already know who I'm talking about. The one who was already judging her and kind of giving her the side eye for doing the thing. Like, just let your girl live. But you know what? Maybe she knew more than we do. But you know who else was awkward?
What?
At the end of the episode, when they go back to their honeymoon suite.
Mm-hmm. When they're laying in that bed?
Jacob got comfortable real quick.
He was trying to give her the eye.
He already had his shirt off. I'm like, dang, don't no one else have their shirt off?
Maybe that's how he sleeps.
He leaned to her.
Right. She's like,
I'm going to bed.
Right.
I don't know what you talking about, but I know I'm talking about the sleep. I'm like, sir, could you just turn over, please? There's no boom boom tonight.
But here's the thing, and I didn't think this was possible. Ryan has a drop more personality than Jacob.
You know what? I didn't think it was possible either, but from what we've seen so far, we have to keep saying that. So far, he does have a little bit more personality. Ryan's still boring. All right, so our last couple to be married is Chris and Paige. And we pretty much picked up where we left off with them.
We did. Before, let me get my glasses so I can make sure that I don't miss anything that I wrote down. Because this was a mess. I was outdone by Chris and Chris Sr.
But you know what? At the beginning, I know last week we left off with Chris saying, oh, beep with the S word. And we were all like, what does this mean? Does he not like his wife? Is he surprised? What's happening? So when she was walking down the aisle, this is only me, because I know, Mom, you're going to have to say something different about this. Chris had a smile on his face. Baby Chris likes her. Baby Chris thinks she's beautiful, because when she got to the altar, he was like, you're so beautiful. We saw his dad in the audience being real creepy, like, oh yeah, she gorgeous. We got something for her dad later. So I was really optimistic at the beginning of the wedding with them. They said really nice vows. He seemed really genuine. Of course, she seemed really genuine. They were talking about,
I had to stop and look at you like,
they did. He really did to me.
in the beginning, they did, but I think you're leading up to the drag.
I'm leading up to it because
ahead.
I was really optimistic in the beginning because he really said nice things to her. And then of
I
course,
don't think the vows were nice, yes. But were the vows meant for her? Probably not.
and then we also got to hear some things that each of their families feel about each other. And of course, Chris's family basically says he likes, designer things, even though he likes to be entrepreneur and all that stuff. And Paige's family said, she's Christ-driven. She's going to love you like you never been loved before. Of course, this is something that Chris wanted to hear, according to his pastor, because I peeped, that was his pastor at the altar. I was like, he's trying to get his check too. I see it. So I wasn't really mad at this. What did you think about it?
I was trying to be optimistic. Didn't last long though.
Well, okay, so let's keep going. So after, he asked actually first if she wanted to kiss, on her forehead, on the cheek. Of course, we already knew Paige, she's gonna want on lips because she's like that.
Yeah.
So he gave her a kiss on the cheek. So then they walk back to be alone with each other. And he starts asking questions about her job. She's an accountant.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I'm an entrepreneur. She's like, yeah, we're going to have to talk about your spending habit. Because you're not going to be spending all that. We're trying to build a future.
Yeah, because she said that based on what his vows were based on, the luxury things and the nicer clothes. There's nothing wrong with wanting nicer things, stuff like that. But to put it in your vows and have your family say that about you,
well, he didn't put it in his vows, just what the family said.
still.
Okay, let's keep moving forward. He says that he's an entrepreneur with a restaurant and buying a house he's about to flip. She's like, oh, well, I already have a house that I already flipped and have somebody renting out of it. He's like, okay, I'm scared of you. Like, you should be. You should be. So then he asks, well, how many tattoos do you have? She was like, oh, I have 3 tattoos. He's like, yeah, I have 1. I don't remember exactly what he said, but it's basically a cover up because him and his ex got each other's names
I
tatted
think
on
he
them.
said the king Jesus or the king of something. It's the king of something or Jesus of something. She's like, oh, that tattoo looks fresh.
Well, it's a cover up
But it's still
for
fresh.
his ex.
Fresh meaning
Nice.
looks like it was recently done. Having a cover up.
Of course it was recently done. He got engaged 3 months before the
Ma'am,
show.
bring your neck back to the camera for the people.
I mean, come on, it was. So this right here already gave Paige a red flag. Like,
No, she didn't say red flag. She said it was a yellow flag. I'm like, yellow.
No, this was a red flag. She didn't want to talk about it right now. She was like, oh, well, I also have a dog. Are you a dog person? Because I have a Yorkie. He was like, oh, yeah, my ex had a Yorkie. And this is when she's like, okay,
Right.
this is the second time you brought up your ex's name. And I was like, yeah, this is the second time. Like, why are you doing this? I mean, maybe, let's think about it in Chris's terms.
Oh, in a positive direction, maybe?
Yes, maybe he was doing this to lead up, and it just so happened to align and lead up to him talking about him being engaged 3 months ago, instead of it just, coming out on social media or whatever.
Okay, well, one thing that I know personally, and you know too, that talking about your ex in any way, shape, and form, in the manner that he talked about the ex, especially on a show like this, meeting someone new, is inappropriate. But how I feel about her learning that from him first versus anyone else, that is a major plus. I'm not saying it's a plus sign as good as like, yay, look at me.
He didn't gain any points. He just stayed at the same level.
He didn't get any cool points, but I'm glad that she learned it from him and no one else. But that gave her a whole bunch of pause. And I was just wondering, did your flag go from yellow to red yet? Because that is a red flag.
Maybe it went to yellow to orange. It's not exactly at red yet. Because then she asked him, like, are you happy being here? Like, is this what you want to do? He's like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is what I like. So we move forward to them taking the pictures. So then we see Chris's mom go over to hug Paige to be friendly. And then we see Chris Jr. and Chris Sr. on the side. And Chris Sr. in his oversized 1970s Steve Harvey collection suit was going to be
that would be Steve Harvey 1990 edition when he had the Steve Harvey show.
It don't matter because it was not cute. It was ugly. I'm just going to say that because Chris's dad really rubbed me the wrong way. And he really gave me the feels of the feels. If you a woman or a young female, you know the feels of a guy who just does too much and makes you uncomfortable. That's what Chris's dad was giving me, and I didn't like it. I'm low-key traumatized. I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's exactly what he gave, the feels of the feel, and I am closer to their peer group than you, because that same vibe and she cold, she's gorgeous, to that
she
body.
Got a nice body. She got a
what?
baddie, all that stuff. Like, so now we see for real, where Chris is getting this from, and this is not okay. If anyone thinks this is okay, let us know in the comments down below, because I want to know why you think this is okay. I need to hear some justifications.
Exactly,
it's not.
And aren't they a preacher, pastoral, Christian family?
I gotta go.
That's all I'm saying. And this is why there's a lot of controversy in the church.
You said it. You said it. That's absolutely true. I forgot all about that. And we're just going to keep moving forward with that. So Chris's dad rubbed me and mom the wrong way. Let us know how you guys feel about that one. But anyways, they look like they're having a good picture time, with each other and each other's family. But then Paige goes over to her bridesmaid and is like, I don't feel like there's a connection there. I don't feel like he thinks I'm attractive. I don't think he likes me. And Paige's friend was like, he was waiting there for you for hours to get there. He wants to be with you. He was waiting there for hours because it's a show and he hasn't met his wife yet. So of course he's gonna wait.
Right,
there.
those dynamics. But she was apprehensive. That's what she's trying to tell her bridesmaids, like on the low. Like I don't think
it
all
was
this
the
and
gut
that.
feeling. It was a gut feeling from God. So God might have wanted to put you on this path, but you should listen to that gut feeling from God, because we're just keep fast forwarding, because there's a lot that happened in between, like when they were sitting at the table and they were eating their dinner, and she was just wanting to jump into like the engagement thing. Like, what happened with that?
Yeah, wouldn't you? You would want to know that. That had to have been in not the back of her mind, in the front of her mind, because to hear something like that, and then again, like we've said last week, and just in general, you're on this show. Like, are you really ready? Like, where's your heart? And I think he tried to sugarcoat it. I may get a little flack for that, but he tried to sugarcoat it. But he also said, I'm trying to be honest at the same time. But no, sugarcoat's not the right word. Well, it was like more sarcasm.
He said that they had trust issues on both hands, and she wasn't giving him the undivided attention that he needed. That's what he said.
She wasn't a freak enough?
Clearly, because then he started to move into the conversation like, well, are you virgin? Then asked her, if you are a virgin, I'm a great teacher.
And once again, I'm just like, this conversation is so inappropriate. The timing is wrong. If you want to know these questions because you don't know the person, eventually you want to ask questions along the way. Tonight is not that night.
Asked about contraceptives, of course, because he wants a honeymoon baby and all that stuff.
How?
And Paige is looking like she's listening to the conversation, but to me, it's like she's like has her third eye on him. Like she's listening. She's like, okay, I'm gonna see about him, but I'm still got a lookout on him, because he is really not what I'm expecting out of my husband to be doing to me, to be saying to me right now. And you know what he also said? That he used to be more than this, more extra than this.
Yeah.
More intense.
Oh, and since we saying he used to be more extra, more intense, when he finally talks to her bridesmaids,
Oh, so you just want to go ahead and jump
Let's
right
just
there.
jump to that.
We can't jump right there yet. We almost there. I know it's a lot that happened. We have to go to Chris' daddy.
Oh, the speech. You know what? When he gave this speech, at the end, I literally wrote, "Good night, sir. Good night. I'm over this." Because you know what? Flip the script. That could not have been Millennial Cassandra, me. Couldn't have been me. You've been drug out the wedding. Couldn't have been
Where
me.
am I going?
Home.
No, but the father gave a speech like, I always knew my son was basically destined for greatness ever since he was 9 with his brother, had a landscaping company.
Yeah.
And just had so much prayer for him, and that he's so happy that he put a gorgeous woman like Paige in his life. And now, he don't want to be selfish, but he's looking for a grandchild, a Chris the Third, or a Crystal.
And I said,
A Crystal.
"Good night, sir."
And then the way he just looked at her every time. But it didn't stop there. That's the craziest thing. Because later on, when Paige, sits down with his mom and his dad, the mom was like, take your time. Don't rush things. You don't need a baby right now.
Right. Chris Sr. was like,
I know, like who said that?
but Chris Sr. wanted her to know, like, if your husband come home tired and
He's exhausted.
basically if he wants a woman's touch, you make sure you give it to him.
Intimacy every night. Not some nights, every night. Mom
With
was
that
just-
twinkle, with that schmize, that schmeeze.
It was disgusting. I just have to say that. And the mom was just sitting there just laughing. So, okay, mom condones this, clearly, because she didn't speak upon anything like that. And I'm just like, who is the groom here? Is Chris Senior the groom? Because he seems like he likes Paige more than Chris likes Paige. Because now we go to the bridesmaids, and the bridesmaids are asking him questions, and he lets us know that
He's
he
not
was
attracted-
engaged
right.
to people before, and so the bridesmaids were just asking questions, building upon that. And then he was like, it took a few months. Well, he didn't say a few months. He said it took a while for me to get over it. But I'm like, it's been 3 months. So how long is a while?
But the main part of the conversation, because you're giving the little bits and pieces, I'm not saying they're little, but the main piece
Well, it was so
of the conversation was, she's not someone I would usually be attracted to.
the opposite. He likes a ritzy girl, a glamorous girl,
A
pretty
trophy
girl,
wife.
a pretty girl. And I'm like, but she is a pretty girl.
But when he said trophy wife, and her friends were like, she is a trophy wife, he was like, no.
Right, like she is someone that's on your level. He's like, no, like he said, she's not beautiful. She's just not the beautiful for him. And I was kind of like mind blown, and I just didn't understand what was going on. Like how honestly, how did he get on the show?
And once again, he said, we match on paper, but
I mean, that's fine that you match on paper, but it doesn't even seem like he wants to give it a chance. What he wants to do is do something, because, she got a fatty that, he was talking about with his dad and all his friends, and they were just joking and kikiing about, and just have some honeymoon babies. So I was kind of surprised, first of all, that the friends didn't really air him out when they were with him.
yeah, because I would have.
And then when the friends went back to Paige, they didn't air him out there either. And I'm like, okay, I know some people have this thing where like, okay, my friend probably doesn't even want to hear all that because they're still going to do what they want to do anyways. But he's a stranger. They haven't even met for a whole day yet.
Well,
would've said
I don't
something.
think they wanted to kill her vibe, but I think they were trying to, again, talk around what he was trying to say. But I think now, looking back on it, they would have told her that, he's not attracted to you, he's not a trophy wife, like, that would, like, really have hurt her feelings. I mean, they know their friend.
Hurt her feelings, because that was just ridiculous what he said, and it wasn't cool on any means. I mean, yeah, that's his truth, but if that's gonna be your truth, then you don't need to be on the show.
You know what? And let's talk about real quick that Dr. Viviana thing. If you all saw it, if you didn't, on Instagram talking about bullying
and all that other stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe she has a point, but this episode right here cancels everything out, because
Cancels.
everything that Chris said was out of line, off the wall. I mean, his truth or whatever wasn't cool, because it doesn't seem like he wants to be here to be married. It seems like he wants to be on the show to get exposure, maybe even to get back at his ex, like, haha, I'm on the show now, and potentially try to have little honeymoon babies.
But why would you want a honeymoon baby with someone you're not attracted to and who you may not go on with life with? Like, why would you want that?
Maybe to throw in his ex's face, because I'm really not understanding. And it was mainly Dr. Viviana, but for all the experts, I feel like everyone who watches Married at First Sight, even if it was just starting this year, kind of needs answers, because the way that some of these people are on this show doesn't really meet the criteria for what should be on this show. And I know some people probably say, like, oh, well, we never know what happens behind the scenes or whatever, and it's all about
you can't edit. Production didn't edit the things that came out of his mouth. The off the wall, uncharacteristic.
See, you got us messing up on
things
the words.
that weren't, charismatic or even relatable. That's not production right now. It just isn't. In episode 3,
I need answers. Sway. I need an Instagram live from Dr. Viviana or somebody. But we're gonna stop it right there, because I feel like we talked about Chris mainly in Paige's wedding for quite a long time, and we want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this week's episode pertaining these two weddings at hand? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you have some feelings you want to let out? Let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, that's all I really have.
And
to
I want to know
that.
if you all think that Chris was okay with being upfront about his truth, or you think he was just, like I said, just out of line and just like, why are you really on this show?
Yes, so thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to leave those comments down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you would like. I know some people might not, but that's okay. And share this video to other people who watch Married at First Sight or the experts.
Thank you all again for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.